Well, we were just talking about how we've celebrated season 18. The first day was yesterday, but if you've been watching us for a long time, there's a good chance
we're nuts.
You're going to remember our next guest, Dorothy Cassaseri Simone. She's joined us several times over the years, but she's got a brand new project.
She's the host and executive producer of a new podcast called That Greenwich Life. And we are so thrilled she's here to tell us all about it. First of all, you look amazing. You haven't changed.
Welcome back.
You haven't changed a bit.
Thank you so much.
When you came on the show, I don't even remember what you did on the show. You were just
did
wonderful.
all like
celebrity stuff.
Okay, wait, I'm
Right.
pretty sure you're the one who taught me to chip my cheese on
Yes.
Yes, I still do that.
Yes. You don't cut the cheese, because I used to work with like Sartori cheese back then, and yeah, you have to chip the cheese instead of cutting
and then
it. Right?
that's like my quick appetizer all the time
Yep.
is chipped cheese and a thing of grapes. Okay,
And I think
anyway.
we co-host. I think I was a guest co-host a
You
few times,
absolutely
maybe when
were.
Kara was on vacation
Yes,
or something.
So you took a little, you took a minute because you had a baby, and that
Yes.
baby is now.
Yes, my baby is now 8.5, and I just had another baby, and she's 18 months.
Wow.
And the journey was not always easy.
Oh God, no, it wasn't easy at all. It's actually really part of the reason, the main reason I should say, that I really started this podcast, because I went through hell and back. I had like a very tragic 21-week loss. I went through
I'm so
multiple
sorry.
IVF cycles that didn't work. I've been under anesthesia more times than Michael Jackson. Like, it was horrific. Like, I know, you have to find the humor.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're not laughing, you're gonna cry. But
Right.
I went through so much loss and such a hard time of life. And my son was around 3.5 years old at the time. So as he, like grew up, we tried, to have a baby, and then miracle of all miracles, the IVF didn't work, but my daughter Gemma is here, and it's really the main reason that I've really transformed my life, or I should say this suffering and this journey transformed my life, and that's what I talk about on the podcast.
So it was natural, your daughter?
It was natural.
That's amazing.
Yeah, after they told me, oh, you're too old, your eggs are so old, I ended up, having my daughter when I was 41.
Wow.
So go figure.
Go
Wow.
figure.
Yeah.
I didn't even think you were 30.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just turned 43.
Good for you.
That's awesome. The new podcast, though, it's called The Greenwich Life. And yes, it's going to be a little bit about you live in Greenwich now.
Yes.
But we also get to dish a little. We're going to learn about the lavish things that go on in the Gold Coast city.
Yes. So Greenwich is 100% the Gold Coast city. Greenwich is 100% the setting for the show, because I've lived in Greenwich now for 8 years, and it is such a larger than life there. I don't live in a mega mansion in backcountry, with 5 acres.
Right.
I don't have a horse or a tennis court. I actually don't even have a swimming pool, but but I have a really beautiful and wonderful life there, mainly because of the people that I know, and it's really all about like the highs and lows, not only of just the town, like there's everywhere you look, there's like a Bentley, someone driving a Bentley around, but then there's like it's the high and the low, but also of life, because we're all going through hard things. There's always things like between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. that make that our worst time of the day. And whether you have your mega mansion and you're coming to pick me up in your Lamborghini, or whether you're like picking me up on your bicycle, we all go through it. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how important you are at work or anything like that.
So did you think it was going to take off? What did you think?
People have been saying I should have a podcast for so long, because my background is in TV, and I worked in celebrity news, and I worked at People Magazine and Life and Style and In Touch Weekly. I used to go on the Wendy Williams show, do all the things. So people have been saying this to me, and I'm kind of like, episode 4 is all about imposter syndrome, and honestly, it's me. Like, I'm like, who would listen? Who's gonna listen if I do a podcast? And then this great podcast studio opened in Greenwich, right at the top of Greenwich Avenue.
What's it called?
Pod Populi.
Pod Populi.
And they have locations all around the country. And a friend took me in to meet with them, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, my baby's young, like, I don't know if I'm gonna do a podcast. And I went in and I met with them, and they're like, you're fabulous. We would love to have you do a podcast here. We'll sponsor you. And I had to turn around and see who they were talking to, because I'm like, wait, me? But like my whole career was on the up and up and was like sizzling hot before the age of Instagram and influencers. So some like to call me, and by some I mean me, like the OG influencer.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have 100,000 followers, but and I'm not making millions like a 19-year-old in her mom's basement that hasn't graduated from college.
Right.
But I applaud her, but this is what I've always done, and so they gave me this great opportunity, and I can't believe the feedback. It's been incredible. It's just like it's so fun because it's about Greenwich and people want to know what's Greenwich about, but it's also like meaty. and it's important. It's important things that we all need to think about. Like the power of the word no, like learning about boundaries, like when things change, like plan B can sometimes be for better than I expected instead of a lesser option.
Well, you got to come back because we're out of time, and I'm going to talk to you all morning.
Yeah. But here's, in the meantime, you're going to feel like you're talking to her because you can find That Greenwich Life on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you enjoy your podcast. So for more information, you can check out DorothyOnTV.com. You can follow her because she is on Instagram now at DorothyOnTV. But we get all the fun, all the dish, but it's also local because it's Greenwich.
That's great. Come back.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was so nice to be back here. There's a Dorothy that once said there's no place like home, and that's how I feel today.
We appreciate it.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We love it.